Hey everybody, welcome to another 10-minute Marvel video. I'm Petter, and today we're doing what I would call a slightly different video than sometimes. Now, only slightly because this is comic book related. Marvel Comics, obviously, this is 10-minute Marvel after all. But when I kind of check out different content from different content creators around things like collecting, stuff like that, one of the fun things that I see them do is open up kind of mystery boxes. Generally, a mystery box they get is a bad idea. So, I paid for a mystery box here. I believe it was $20 plus, I think, a little bit for shipping for 10 comics. Now, if you're familiar with Marvel Comics and kind of the pricing on stuff like that, okay, this is probably not a bad deal. It's probably not a bad deal, but most of the comics are going to be worth about $2. So I'm going to make my money back, but I'm not going to have anything super crazy or special or stuff like that. But I have no idea kind of what age these comics are going to be, though I'm pulling off the top one here, and it's weird and older. So, I mean, you can tell it's older. Look here, it's 35 cents. We have the Human Fly from the Marvel Comics group. So I don't know if this is necessarily purely a traditional Marvel comic, but Marvel Comics group, sure, that's cool. That is something different and way older than I was expecting. The next one also older than I was expecting, but again, Marvel Comics group, we have John Carter, Warlord of Mars, here, 40 cents, so slightly newer than the 35-cent one, but kind of cool to have something that's John Carter, and honestly, like, okay, there's a little crease down in the bottom corner there, but not bad shape. Then we're moving forward a little bit, breaking into the Marvel way. We have a couple Spider folks, one of two. This is a Marvel limited series, so that's kind of different, unique, cool. As well as then, okay, this is going back a touch. This is, I mean, this feels like, I mean, this has to be 90s. Yep, June 1996. X-Men, Cable. On the Path of Onslaught. Nice. So, cool looking. I mean, it's like very 90s cover. Love that. Then we have Nomad Part 2. Apparently Cable theme for this. Let's see. March 23rd. I'm looking at the prices here. This is older. I mean, still definitely feels 90s. So, excited for that. I think, actually, Nomad is not Cable. That is Steve Rogers going out there. Then, going back here, we have Excalibur. Not exactly the X-Men. Yeah, no, that doesn't look like the X-Men, but still cool. Another newer one here. X-Men Unlimited. This is number 4. Juggernaut on the cover. So, cool cover there. I like that. Juggernaut smash. Ooh, now we're going back a little bit again. 80s, 90s. We have Alpha Flight. So that's pretty cool. I like the... So 1992, 30th anniversary, 1962 to 1992 of The Amazing Spider-Man. So they're advertising that on there. It looks like, yeah, An Infinity War crossover. Cool. Next up, this one, again, another Marvel Groups comic. I don't love the fact I wasn't trying to get the Marvel Groups comics in this, but 40 cents. This has to be relatively old. Tarzan comic. That is unique. And finally, we have the New Mutants, $1, so 80s probably. Gossamer Comes a Calling. I kind of like the creepiness of that New Mutants comic. So, this is one I got off of eBay. I have to say, I'm surprised by it. So, just my initial impressions. Obviously, I haven't looked up prices on anything like that. I am going to spend a little bit of time doing that, and I'll put that down in the description as a spoiler as to kind of what the value comes out to be. But more older stuff than I thought there were going to be. Now, 90s kind of had what was known as the comic book boom bust. So everybody was like, oh, these old comics are actually worth a lot. So I'm going to buy new comics and I'll hold on to them for a while and they'll become worth something. That didn't happen, and then so it artificially inflated kind of the market of people buying comics. And then when things weren't increasing in price because everybody was doing it, or the people who were interested in comics were already doing it, then companies like Marvel, DC, and those all printed larger print runs as the demand was dropping, and so it really hurt the comic book companies. So to have some of those in there totally makes sense. That said, those comics now are, like, if it's in 1994, that's 30 years ago. So there's a little bit more value and interest in that. And obviously some of these were way older than that because they're 40 cents, 35 cents. So they're in solid condition. Like, not... And I'm going to go through eventually my graded comics. They're not like a 9.8, kind of the highest that CGC gives out, but they're not like a 4 or 5. They're probably a 7 or an 8, which is pretty solid for something that old. So definitely some cool pulls in there, and I would bet that I'm probably $40, $45 in comics, if I had to guess. So I made my money back on it. However, these are not comics that people are necessarily searching out. So, did I make my money back on it? Sure. But it may cost me more to be able to sell them again if I wanted to sell them piecemeal. Just in terms of time, effort, and storage and all of that. Taking in kind of the consideration of what my time costs, I'd probably come out on the wrong end of it. But I bought it because I was curious about it, and I wanted something that was Marvel only. Technically, this was, even though some of them were Marvel group comics, it'd be like getting Star Wars comics in a Marvel lot, because Marvel's doing Star Wars comics now. It's like, well, technically, yes, but when I'm saying Marvel, I mean Marvel superhero. That's what I'm looking for. We'll see if the Amazon one I have coming in soon fares better, but you can wait for that video and check out the comparison between the two. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was fun. It was something a little bit different that I wanted to do, and honestly, I enjoyed it. It's a cool way to see kind of some random comics that I wouldn't stumble across otherwise. Though, now seeing the Onslaught one in there, I'm like, I should read that arc. But with that said, I think I already said it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please give the video a thumbs up. Click that notification bell and subscribe. Know when we put up new videos. I try and do one per day during the week. And leave your comment down below. Which was your favorite of these comics? Are there any that stood out to you? Anything like that? But appreciate you watching so much. If you want to check out more content, we obviously have a whole bunch of videos on this channel. A lot of them news, rankings, stuff like that around Marvel, as well as then stuff like comic books and Marvel trading card pack openings, stuff like that. So if you enjoy that content, check out those. We also have our podcast, 10 Minute Marvel, that comes out every Tuesday. You can find that over on the channel. Click onto 10 Minute Marvel and then the podcast tab, or wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcasts from. But with that, we'll see you next time.